Now we're good.
This is me in my normal talking voice, excited about the film that we're about to do.
Right.
Hello.
Hi.
Yep.
Good morning. Wait, it's 3 o'clock.
Oh, well, as I've figured out, I don't know what time it is anywhere
You can't
at
read.
any time. I am
It's
constantly unaware of the time.
Welcome to the low ceiling.
Welcome to the low ceiling. I'm John.
And I'm Pre.
I have something so important to say.
You have something important to say?
I have something important to say.
Yeah.
So this film is directed by Gore Verbinski.
Yeah. What film?
Pirates of the Caribbean,
Ba-bow.
Dead Man's Chest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Gore Verbinski directed Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. And then he signed on to do 2 more films.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah.
And Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, the World's End is just Asia.
Okay, that's where the world ends,
But,
at Asia.
but he signed on to do 2 more films.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you know, I've directed 3 of these. I think I know a sinking ship when I see one. Hey! Because there's 5.
There's 5.
Yeah.
But then we will acknowledge the trilogy and none other.
Nope, that's not true. The other 2 are on our list as well. We're not going to do At World's End soon. But
No.
we will do it eventually, as we've just talked off mic. And by talked, and by discussed, I
did
mean,
we discuss it?
I've made a decision.
There it is.
And like
Coerced.
the Captain Jack Sparrow of this relationship.
You're the Kraken of this relationship.
That's true, actually.
You wrapped your arms around my boat.
I appreciate you saying so. I saw Hitman
Yeah.
in theaters,
Hell yeah.
a Netflix film.
Classic.
I say that with the most disdain ever. Saw a Netflix film in cinemas.
Yeah.
Stars Glen Powell and Morbius 2, our girl.
Hey,
Adria.
what's up, Adria?
Good movie. Enjoyed it. You
Good
were not
movie.
into it. Like I said, your enjoyment of it scales linearly with how much you are in the bag for Glen Powell.
Nice.
So I understand why you wouldn't have really enjoyed it. But
look, I don't hate the guy. I'm ambivalent. It's just something about his eyes that to me, I'm like, I don't know if I can stare directly into them for 90 minutes.
Glen Powell is a pretty guy.
Yeah.
But most of his, and you notice this when it's up on the big screen, most of his acting is in the mouth.
He's a teeth actor. He's a mouth actor for sure.
His smile is almost a
Yeah.
perfect parabolic U. And he has these like rows of dimples, but then above the bridge of the nose, nothing.
Nothing. It's soulless.
Nothing moves.
Death in the eyes.
And he's very good in Hitman. I'm just joking. And he's a very beautiful man.
Yeah.
But when you notice, you're just like, this guy's mouth is doing 90% of the work.
Yeah, dude.
And I have to say, they hired like in another role in Hitman. Anyone who's seen this will probably know who I'm talking about. Like Bargain Bin Dave Franco, and sometimes that guy's mouth is like
bin?
on his cheek. I'm like this, like you'd look away and you look, and then you're like, that guy's mouth is moved off across his face.
Yeah.
It's a different part of his face.
He's the Anne Hathaway of mouths.
Okay, I don't know what you mean by that.
You know, just like a mouthful of mouth.
But the reason I bring up Hitman, not just because I like talking about new films, Glen Powell is, I think, our current champion mouth actor. And Pirates of the Caribbean stars the previous champion of mouth acting,
Keira Knightley. Hell yeah,
Keira
dude.
Knightley is like, it's all in the chin.
Keira Knightley famously has brought great attention to herself in interviews for Pirates, being like, every director ever has told me to just never fucking pout ever again. They are so sick of my whole face doing the little pout
But
that
she's
I
so
do.
good at it. She's so pretty, but
It's her defining feature.
When you look at her in profile, her face slopes downwards
It's
into
'cause all
her
the
chin
emphasis.
juts out as she pouts. her way through a scene.
Shock.
I like Keira Knightley. I'm making fun of. I'm only just.
Hey, I made her a drink one time. She's really sweet.
Yeah, and I would have made fun of how she looked to her face. I'm not afraid to.
I did it, and then she threw the drink back in my face.
Yeah, I'm a little punk rock that way. No, I'm kidding, Keira. Come on the podcast. You can replace Pri if you want to. If next time you serve her a drink, please ask her if she would be my co-host.
Keira, you and I go way back.
She hasn't been in a film in a long time.
We go way back. She gets me.
But I want to say, like, Keira Knightley, Hall of Fame mouth actor. She joins Colin Firth and that chick from Game of Thrones who's like, you know nothing, Jon Snow, in like the world-class mouth acting category.
Yeah.
Because she's in the Good Fight, right?
That's
and she does a lot of lip quivering.
She does a lot of face twitch acting.
And smiley, twitchy. You mean my father stole all the money?
I got Tourette's cheeks or whatever.
I think the reason that she does that is that because she's Scottish, she has to hold the accent inside, and it makes her face twitch.
Everything else, they're like, Egret, whatever your real name, Rose Leslie, that's her real name.
Rose
like,
Leslie,
Rose,
yeah.
Just be fucking doing the American accent, and also you're an American lawyer. She's like, but I struggle.
But counselor, objection, because I'm Scottish, and I got to let it out.
That's
and
pretty great.
Christine Baranski, nothing. It's
terrible.
It's not even a good fight, Christine.
All right.
Yeah, well, you know what? I didn't serve drinks to Keira Knightley, but Keira Knightley served me enjoyment in this film.
Hey.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's
yeah.
Chest. It's called a segue. I'm trying to get back on track. I think this movie is actually really good.
I fucking love pirates.
As a concept?
Just as a concept.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. No, this movie, dude, and I started watching it just not having a fucking clue what's going on.
Me neither. Still don't.
And I'm like 2 movies deep already, first part, second part, and I'm still like, all right. And I never say this, and I'll never repeat it again, but plot does not fucking matter when it comes to Pirates of the Caribbean. Everything carries this film. The action, the costume, the pouts, the mouths, individually the characters are well developed, and you just get lost in the world, and it's a phenomenal experience.
This movie is like, it's so well shot and beautifully designed.
Oh my God.
That the plot doesn't matter, which is a good thing, because the plot is mostly just fucking MacGuffin City.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
everything is just meant for fucking Orlando Bloom to survive no matter what.
You know what modern movie it kind of reminds me of?
Yeah.
But this is a much better film in my opinion, is The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
The way in The Rise of Skywalker, they're just like chasing down, like they might as well be being like, oh, now we got to go find the next action sequence.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what they're doing in this film. Because here's the thing. I think this movie is good, but the first 40 minutes are
rough, man.
So no, they're so ridiculous, because the reason I don't know what's going on is because in the first 40 minutes I was like, oh yeah, nothing important is going to happen at all. And Davy Jones doesn't appear until an hour into the film.
Really?
And he's the villain.
Really?
Yeah. So ostensibly he's the villain. I mean, Tom Hollander is kind of a villain, but he also doesn't appear for like a solid 90 minutes in the middle. So I was watching the whole thing with like, at the beginning you're like, okay, so their wedding's broken up, all right. And then you're like, you blink and you're just like, I'm on this like racist
I'm on a boat?
cannibal island, and they're chasing, and there's like all these set pieces happening. They're swinging in a ball. And then in my mind, like, I could fault the film for that, and I guess I kind of do, but I'm also kind of like, I mean, whatever, just I'll wait till it fucking starts, because really it's just such, the first like half hour is just so absurd. I think
that's my struggle with it too.
It's not entertaining.
Yeah, but I tried to, and look, maybe I was just tired when I started watching it, but I fell asleep 3 times in the first 30 minutes, and then I had to like put a stop to it. And this morning when I started from scratch, it was still just okay in the first 30. And then
the latter 2/3 pick up.
Then the greatest villain in cinematic history shows up. Davy motherfucking Jones.
That's an insane and absurd take.
I absolutely think, like, right up there with Darth Vader should be Davy Jones as a villain. He is a fantastic character.
I think you're mentally ill.
I think I have good taste and you can escape from this prison. Let me tell you why I love him so much, though. 2006, right?
It's the tentacles. Do you just tell me it's the tentacles?
It's always the tentacles, baby. You know how I do. But look, we all like a tortured villain, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But just something about how fucking Phantom Menace he is in this, in that Bill Nighy just does everything with his whole face. And you can't escape it, even in his voice.
A big-faced villain, I would call him, because he has most of him is his
all
face.
of his acting is in his eyes.
No, I mean Davy Jones.
All right, okay.
He's got a huge face.
Davy Jones looks sad. Why the long face? Get the fuck out of here.
Why the wiggly face,
why
Davy?
The wiggly face?
What you wiggling about?
Stop it. Can I get you a fork? No, he's got it under control. He's just so beautiful, and I just want to give him a hug. And he's so sad, and he's meant to be like Satan of the seas or whatever, right? Every part of this movie is gross to me because everything looks like it has 40 eyes attached to it, and it's a hard watch, man. Yeah. They really up the gross factor with all the barnacles, and especially Sarsgaard's face with the starfish and the fucking
it's very
shit sticking out of it.
It's very the Cthulhu horror style, the Lovecraftian thing.
Sure, but
it has that kind of design, I think.
It's meant to be like majestic, but it just ends up looking so gross, and it's with purpose, right? If you're lost at sea, you're gonna look like dog shit forever. But the way that Davy Jones is both menacing and majestic just sells it. If they gave him like weird makeup like they did Sarsgaard's character, where there's like
he's
clams.
like part human.
Yeah, and there's, what do you call the little black things that open and you eat the scoop?
Muscles?
Muscles. There's muscles stuck to his face.
Yeah.
Ew. Absolutely gross. I would just never watch that.
He looks like a young Baron Harkonnen, though.
Yes, he does. He does.
He
He's so
picked all
ready
the clams
for it.
off, and he's
clams
pale. Yeah. My only beef with Bill Nighy's performance is every second sentence, Bill Nighy seems to be choosing what accent he's going to use. And his half Scottish thing is almost as good as mine. That's it. Like every third word he says, he's like, "Am I Scottish or am I Australian or do I talk like a British normal man?" Like
yeah, dude.
He just sounds absurd.
Because when they first introduce Davy Jones and he's like a real close up and he looks into the face of
he looks through the telescope at Jack Sparrow,
and he like comes real close and a little puff of smoke escapes his face
because he smokes a pipe, and
you think he's about to have like just say something intense, and he says, "All right, mate."
Yeah.
How's it going, lads?
It's very Bill Nighy of him.
It's very like high pitched and strange, and it throws you off because then it changes into something more menacing and like a cooler voice. I don't know, man. I just wish he was my dad. Like, he sounds like so sweet, but also just like a man on a mission, and just the sickest fucking makeup. Probably CGI?
Oh, it's completely CGI.
Completely CGI.
If you look on the Wikipedia, there's a picture, a side-by-side of Bill Nighy without the CGI applied.
Yeah.
And Davy Jones. And what they do, I am not a CGI artist, but like he has all these like points.
Oh, the dots.
Like
motion-censored dots.
Motion censored onto his face. But because like there's so much outside of his face that is being CGI'd on.
That's right.
And has to behave appropriately for his movements. So like one thing that's amazing about this movie is it looks incredible.
It is so fucking
it's from
beautiful.
2006, and like a lot of the CGI is phenomenal.
But that's why you know that fucking $100 $1 million budget went a fucking long way. Even like today, when they make a movie for $200 million, it doesn't look like it cost $200 million.
No.
Back then, you can tell it's fully storyboarded. Like, there's so much thought and intention behind every single action scene, which is the entirety of the film.
I think now
it's like value for your money. It feels
nowadays
so good.
I think like CGI is so demanding in every movie that there's not enough people to do an adequate job. Back then, and I think a big part of this movie too, what it reminded me a lot of is Lord of the Rings with the creature effects. A lot of Lord of the Rings is real. like they're people in costumes and makeup. And I think a good part of this movie is too. But it looks similarly inspired in that way. It's like very detailed, like the detail oriented in that way. But I also just like the CGI is, I can imagine how much money Davy Jones himself just cost to make. But it really, as they say, it's all up on the screen.
Yeah.
But now I think like part of the reason that like some or many big movies just look kind of not good is because the overwhelming demand on like computer graphics artists to actually deliver. And there's especially, so this is a Disney film. There's so many Disney films that need like balls out CGI. But back in 06, it was like there's Pixar and then there's like the rest of Disney, which isn't all like crazy CGI fests, basically. So I think that they just had more time and money to put at this kind of thing and to design it in a way that makes it, but you know, it looks amazing. Like it really does look incredible.
It is, and it's so immersive because I'm just like, all right, this is a day in the life of me watching some pirate live his life.
Okay, sorry, can I just, to finish that thought, what I'm saying is like I want to stray away from being like, man, CGI artists fucking suck. I really don't think it's like a talent or quality issue. I think it's a time issue. That's what I'm trying to get at.
So good.
It's a good movie, man.
I wish I had more Davy Jones in it. And I know they have 400 characters and even Jack Sparrow is not the lead in this, man. He's just some guy who shows up a few times.
Yeah.
This movie is about everyone but Jack Sparrow.
He's one of the protagonists, certainly. Yeah.
And so in that way, I feel like I've missed out on getting to know some of the motivations behind some of the characters. Even Davy Jones is like when he's, you know, hunched over this organ and he's playing this haunting tune and he's obviously looking sad about something or groaning. And it's like, why? Like we know he's
not like totally the villain.
No.
Tom Hollander is more the villain.
Well,
Davy Jones is kind of like he's like
East India Company is just pieces of shit anyway. So that's
but
their whole gang.
But babe, have they ever done anything wrong though? The East India Company?
They got spices.
Yeah, normally they're just like cool. It's like super cool.
They got cool costumes.
I think if you read about their history, they would be like, "Oh, we've never done anything wrong or bad."
EICO 16, bro.
Yeah. We just want black pepper. That's all we want. We're just going to get that black pepper, baby. So this is another movie along with Troy last week about a movie filmed in a hot place that fucked with everyone who worked on it. It's yet another film that was affected by a hurricane, which came in.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This movie was shot back to back with At World's End, which...
Really? Like the same year or what?
Like right away, basically.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they released them. Yeah. I didn't look too much into the production. One thing I will say that I found very interesting, and maybe like I read a little bit into this, but maybe it's not fair. The writers, Rossio and... Terrio and Rossio? Terrio, what are their names? God damn it. They wrote fucking everything for Disney. Chris Terrio. Or Terry Rossio.
We're going to keep all of this
Or
in.
Ross Terrio. Or Chrissy Chris.
Christel Chris.
Christel Chris.
Churbs Lurb over there.
Churbs Lurb.
Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio.
The writers, Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio.
Yeah.
For this film. They were writing it.
Yeah.
As the writers. I'm going to cut out a very long pause we just took to look up their name.
Let me just wrap it up.
It's not Chrissy Del Rossio, Terry Ross.
It's not Churbs Lurb.
It's Churbs.
It's Terry Rossio and Ted Elliott.
Are you sure it's not Chris Terrio?
Chris Terrio?
I think Chris Terrio is a person, but whatever. Okay, stop. The writers, Ted Elliott.
I stopped.
Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. They wrote this film, and
TNT.
They didn't have a script in like late 2004 when this was all, you know, they were like, hey, we'd like to get into pre-production. If we could have a script, that would be great. And they wouldn't deliver the script because they were afraid that Gore Verbinski would fuck around with it. Which says something about, I guess, the relationships of the people on the set of this film. And so they didn't deliver until very late into pre-production.
Yeah.
And they were on the set the whole time to make sure that Verbinski didn't fuck around with it, I guess.
Yeah.
But also they would like rewrite like constantly on the film itself as they were shooting, which I think that actually, speaking of Rise of Skywalker, that's also what happened on Rise of Skywalker, was like they were making shit up as they went for a huge budget film a little bit. And I think that often adds to the MacGuffin-ness of these movies, because this is kind of like, well, we're here now. What are we going to do? And it's like, huge set piece. Let's figure it out and get I don't know, what does he need? Oh, he needs a chest. Oh, you need a key for a chest, and blah, blah, blah. The film, I think, is successful in spite of all that, I guess. Yeah. And
I mean, like the first line, the Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest is called a fantasy swashbuckler film. I didn't even know swashbuckler was like a subgenre of an action type.
Of course it is. It's pirating.
I know, but I didn't think that was like a thing to characterize many movies as.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like...
Are there other swashbuckler films?
Oh, yeah. Maid in Manhattan, Gigli, Hustlers.
Just everything of J-Lo.
The one where her manager murders her. Out of Sight. J-Lo is one of our biggest swashbucklers. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's swashbuckle from the block.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, and then that in that documentary that she just released, that was mostly about swashbuckling, I think.
She's like, hey, the 1-2. Yeah. She's doing the knuckles of a 1950s
She was
fighter.
like, I really want to get back to my roots, which is sword fighting with my friends in the Bronx.
The Bronx.
And then she went back and everyone was like, who are you? She's like, I used to live here, bruh. That's how
she talks.
That's exactly how J-Lo talks.
All right then.
You got anything else to say about this? What can I ask? Actually, I'm going to interrupt you before. What is your relationship to the first one? Because we're not talking about the first one because it's too good, quote unquote.
I don't even remember it.
But you like it though.
I like it. I like all of them, and from what I've seen in the second one, immediately made me want to watch the third one. That's how invested I got closer to the end of Dead Man's Chest, that I want to know does the dead man...
Where is the world ending?
Where does the world end outside of his chest? Yeah.
It's China.
It's China.
Yeah. But like I don't think I've seen the first one until the other day when I finished watching it. And I'd seen it in theaters. So that would have been over 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
20 years ago. Jesus fucking Christ, kill me. But like I remember seeing it in theaters, and while I was 13 years old, I remember being like, that was a really good movie.
Yeah.
And it really is a good film.
Totally. And it's so reminiscent of how I felt when I was watching, like, as a kid, some of the Harry Potter films.
Yeah.
And you just get sucked into that world, and that's what this feels like.
Yeah, like
even as an adult,
it's similar to Harry Potter in the way that, like, there's so many dumb things in Harry Potter that are fun to talk about and make fun of.
Yeah.
And these movies are kind of the same. Like, I don't think any Harry Potter movie is perfect. Neither are any of these. But like critics really didn't like this movie, and I was like, that's crazy, because audiences loved it. Apparently,
totally. Yeah. But like it's not an apples to apples comparison, because that is more plot driven, right? In Harry Potter, every small plot decision has consequence, has fucking 6 twists and all of that stuff.
I mean, they're more intricately plotted, certainly, but they're also based on books that were intricately plotted
100%.
by a woman there's nothing wrong with her. She is the Jennifer Lopez of authors. You know, just a swashbuckling, chill lady
writer
who has never made anyone angry.
She doesn't complain.
Yeah.
She seems real chill.
Yeah.
JK, just kidding, rolling.
But
man.
Like there. But the thing is like the joke about pirates is, it's like based on a ride, and it's like, well, if you're Chris, Terry, Rossio, Elliot, Ted, all 5 of them.
If you're Christel Chris,
if you're Christel, Terry, Rossio, Elliot, someone or whatever, that's kind of like the ideal situation, because it's like, well, yeah, it's based on a ride. You can create anything you want out of it. Not that I've been on the ride. Maybe Jack Sparrow does exist, but like you can just create this thing. And then what they end up creating is one of cinema's most memorable characters.
Davy Jones.
No. Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, but also
Davy Jones.
Yeah. And like no one gives a shit about Orlando Bloom is what I'm saying, right? No one really cares that much about the one female lead in this. Like no one cares. It doesn't matter. It could have been any face. But Davy Jones.
Bloom's pretty forgettable in this. But like yet again, Bloom popping up in he's like, yeah, I was just in the biggest film series ever. What are you doing next? The biggest film series ever. Yeah, I'll just be in the biggest film series ever.
Does that guy just have the best fucking luck in the industry or what?
He's a good actor. I like Orlando Bloom. He also, like, I was thinking of this when I watched the first movie. We talked about this in Kingdom of Heaven, our best episode ever, about the best movie we've ever done.
Fuck yeah, Kingdom of Heaven.
I just think that there's something about him where people are like, I mean, this guy already knows how to swashbuckle. He already knows how to do all this athletic shit because all he does is that.
I mean, and he's a face and a big name.
And he like,
but he's not too big, and he's no Brad Pitt. Like you
at the time though, in for Pirates of the Caribbean 1, someone obviously is like, this fucking Legolas could be a huge star. He's hot. Ladies love him. He can act. He can do a backflip and shit like that. They were smart to be like, we're going to try and bank on this guy. We're going to try and get this guy to be in this movie. And whether you personally like him or not, which I know you're not a big fan of him, I think it's like intelligent to try and bank on this guy to be a bigger star.
That's what I'm saying.
And
it's not even like not being a fan. It's just a guy. Like there's no redeeming quality that some other actor of the same level of fame would have.
You're right.
I'm just surprised at how big of a name he is. Yeah. Because of these back-to-back blockbusters that he's
Keira Knightley is the same though. I remember like in my teens and 20s, like Keira Knightley is in every fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I think Keira Knightley's a fine actress.
Well, she's like a romance darling though, right?
But like she doesn't do anything so special that you're not like,
no,
this couldn't be Anne Hathaway. This can be any other British actress.
No mouth can be any mouth other than Keira Knightley's.
But you're like, this could be any British actress of her age.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think she's that special. And also, like, she popped from being in Love Actually, which is one of the worst films ever created.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That is that's a crazier take than me being like Davy Jones' greatest villain.
No, it's not. That's a very sane take.
He's such a good villain.
All right, and that's fine, but Love Actually still sucks ass. You know, the only way Love Actually would be improved would be if Bill Nighy, who's in Love Actually, played Davy Jones.
Because he is in love, actually, in this film.
Bill Nighy in Love Actually is only in love with getting his single to be the Christmas #1, and that's just horrible.
Relatable. What?
Relatable. Yeah.
Me too, Bill. Me too.
All right.
It's not unusual
to be Bill Nighy.
The Christmas hit.
You want to talk about the plot if we can understand it?
I mean, yeah. Broad strokes, all right? Let's try that. Yeah.
Okay. Will and Elizabeth from the first movie.
That's right.
Just to catch you up on the first movie.
Yeah, tell me about it.
There's a black pearl. Sinks. No, it doesn't. Shit.
Wait, turn around. Go back.
There's a black pearl. It's a ship.
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow. Mm-hmm. He's like, I want it. And then he takes it.
Got it. So Black Pearl is not already a ship that is owned by Jack Sparrow.
It was Jack Sparrow's ship.
Okay.
And then Barbossa.
Okay.
The King's Speech himself.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Not Dustin Hoffman. The British Dustin Hoffman, Geoffrey Rush. He can't die. There's a curse. They get it back. Watch that movie. It's a very good movie. Mm-hmm. Will and Elizabeth get married at the expense of Norrington, who comes up in this film. But at that wedding, it's interrupted by Tom Hollander.
Tom Hollander,
who they hired, but who looks exactly like Norrington.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, he's back. Oh, wait, that's a different actor.
Oh, wait, two separate British guys.
We got Tom Holland. He's the little one. He's the little fella.
Yeah. He's just Holland.
We got Tom Hollander.
Oh, more.
And he's more Hollander. And then we got Tom Hollandish, who is Norrington.
Kind of looks like
I don't
Tom
remember
Holland.
that actor's name. Yeah.
So it's so funny you said little guy because Tom Hollander, also a little guy.
He's a little fella, yeah.
He's cutie.
I would be willing to bet that Tom Holland
is taller.
And Tom Hollander are around the same height, but Tom Holland is probably a little taller.
Yeah.
A little Hollander.
Tom Holland is more Holland than Hollander.
I've said Holland so much.
I forget this name. Yeah.
It's starting to sound.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's becoming the Ted Elliott, Terry Rossio of my vocabulary.
The chirp blurb of this episode.
Okay. So he interrupts their wedding. I don't know why. And he's like, hey, you helped Jack Sparrow. Elizabeth has to go to prison.
Yeah.
You have to help me get his compass, and his compass will lead me to treasure because I work for the British East India Company, an unimpeachable corporation of the time.
Yes.
Who I want treasure because I'm British and I'm evil. In the meantime, on the Black Pearl, Jack is visited by none other than Stellan Skarsgård, who really surprised me when he showed up in this film. And Stellan Skarsgård was like, yo, you made a deal with Davy Jones, and Davy Jones needs you to pay him back. And you haven't done it.
Made that deal like 13 years ago or
13 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's like, if you don't pay him back, you have to serve on the Flying Dutchman for the rest of your life. That's the
right.
deal. Or you have to get him 99 or 100 souls. That's the thing. That eventually comes up. Jack is obviously like, I don't want to do that. So he runs away because Davy Jones can't go on land for once every decade. He runs away to the Cannibal Island, where some mild racism ensues. There's a big set piece that is meaningless to the entire film, although it's worth watching just for Johnny Depp having the eyes painted over his eyelids.
Yes,
which
beautiful
is
makeup.
Really
It's
eerie.
also like classic fucking Halloween costume for 10 years straight after that movie came out.
Oh, yeah.
Or any costume festival is like, oh, I'm pirate.
Yeah.
Pirate Depp.
Yeah. And then Will finds him there. Orlando Bloom finds him there and is like, I need your compass to help me to do whatever. They go together to visit Rihanna, and
that's what I thought too.
Rihanna.
I mean, the accent is impeccable.
Yeah, played by Naomi Harris.
Under my umbrella.
But definitely playing Rihanna.
Yeah.
And she tells them to go get Davy Jones's heart, which is in a chest. This is how the MacGuffins kind of start. And they're like, we need a key to get to the chest, to get to the heart, and to find it you have to go to the wreck of the Flying Dutchman. So Will heads there. This is
when does the title drop happen?
This is such a and then plot.
Yeah.
it's so annoying.
This is a very extended improv class.
Yeah.
It's a yes and, but it's all writers.
Complete yes and. Yeah.
All the writers are sitting around like, yes, and then they did this. It's like, it's been 3 hours,
It was
gentlemen.
written doing that improv exercise where everyone tells a story one word at a time. Yeah.
Terrible party game.
He goes there. He gets kidnapped by Davy Jones. Davy Jones is like, the Flying Dutchman is actually like the supernatural submarine ship that it flies on the water. And Will, you're going to serve on the ship. And then Jack, you have to get me 99 more souls. Captures Will. Jack Sparrow's like, cool, Will, fuck you, goodbye. They go to Tortuga to enlist these souls for the ship. During all of this, Elizabeth is in prison. And her father breaks, one of the two popes breaks her out, her father.
The High Septon from Game of Thrones.
The High Septon from Game of Thrones, which, I mean, no one cares about that.
All
The second pope.
The second pope.
The one who's not Anthony Hopkins, Jonathan Pryce, breaks her out. She miraculously pretends to be a man on a ship.
Yo, how does she end up on the ship? I don't know. But in the blink of an eye, she goes from being in a prison cell in a dress.
And also, all of the men on the ship are like, oh, which one of them's a lady? And it's like, maybe the one who looks like a 13-year-old boy. You ever think of that?
The one who's like 6 feet taller than the rest of you.
Yeah. The one who looks and sounds like a woman.
The one who just said, hey, what's happening over here? Literally in this voice.
I'm a pirate too.
Fellas.
Wingardium Leviosa.
What's your favorite letter?
So she ends up...
Is it R? No, it's the C. Because pirates.
All right. You're trying to be Jennifer Lopez. This is not working. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not reference a South Park episode.
I'm sorry.
So Elizabeth ends up on Tortuga after, and still miraculously everyone's like, that young boy with the very clean face is very neat. There's a huge brawl in the tavern, which is cool. I really like the brawl.
Yeah.
That's pirate shit, man. You know in Star Wars when he's like, now this is pod racing? I was like, now this is pirating, you know?
Yeah.
And then Norrington, Tom Holland-ish, shows up and he's like, I don't remember why he's there.
I don't know.
He wants to get revenge on because he was going to marry Elizabeth. Like whatever,
Right.
She punches him. It's all
so
fun.
that fight scene between Orlando Bloom, Johnny Depp, and the other guy.
Hold on, we're not there yet.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
Will gets the key from Davy Jones and escapes from the Flying Dutchman after he reconnects with Stellan Skarsgård. But he's like, you're my dad, but you look disgusting, and so
He's
I'm
so
not
gross.
really gonna be super close with you
Yeah.
as a child. And then he leaves.
Yeah.
And then they all figure out where the chest is, and they all converge on this little island, and they dig up the chest.
Mm-hmm.
You've watched this more recently than me, so check me if I'm getting any of this wrong.
Yeah.
They dig up the chest. It's got Davy Jones' heart in it.
That's right.
Gareth from The Office is there.
Yeah.
The other guy is there.
Yeah.
Norrington, Sparrow,
Yeah.
Lopez,
Yes.
Knightley,
Jennifer
Bloom.
Lopez.
They all fight over this chest.
Yes.
There's a really good set piece that happens here with there's like a kind of a 3-way chase with all of the pirates who come from the Flying Dutchman, and there's the wheel, and they're just like
That's what I want to
it's
talk
fun.
about.
That's fun. I
That
like that.
one like huge 20-foot large wheel that is in motion, and then the three men are fighting inside and on top of it as it moves.
It's cool.
But then not only is that already fucking incredible to watch, the camera moves with you and you feel like you're about to get vertigo, and it's only a few seconds. Phenomenal. But ultimately, Johnny Depp's character, Jack Sparrow, opens the chest, gets the heart, and buries it in a bottle of sand.
Special sand that he got from Rihanna.
Special sand. He's like, this is the purpose of the sand. But then they do a little switcheroo, and
Norrington ends up with the heart.
yeah.
You find that out at the end, but Norrington ends up with the heart.
But they very clearly show him stuffing something in his shirt and in between the fight.
And then it
you're
looks like he has a
all
third
right.
titty and is beating. But most importantly, after that, they get back to the Black Pearl where the Kraken attacks them.
Beautiful.
Which is awesome.
Awesome
I think
scene.
That's a really fantastic set, like action sequence and all that kind of stuff.
Twice they do that.
Yeah.
How much money?
The
Fantastic.
Kraken is cool, but there is like kind of an aspect. Remember we talked about in the Solo episode, like there is an aspect of like, good thing we mauled this innocent creature that's just
It's just hungry.
Well, it's just doing what it's told.
And also, is it the Kraken?
Nope.
Which I really enjoyed, because there's a little bit of banter between Gareth from the Office UK and his other pirate friend who's like, it's not Kraken, is it? It's the Kraken. Oh, long A.
I cut that. I forgot.
It's a god from your brain.
Yeah. The thing is Gareth from The Office, Mackenzie Crook, was so good in Pirates 1 that they were like, we got to get this guy back. But
hell yeah.
I'm kind of like, yeah, you could cut him from this film.
You can cut a large part of it.
I love
from
Mackenzie
this film.
Crook, and I love the British Office. I think he's a fantastic actor, and I think he was great in Pirates 1. But there is a little bit like, I mean,
there's lots of japes that everybody's already doing.
How much of the gang do we need back in this?
Yeah.
And that problem, I want to bring it back in the end, because there's a problem I have with that too, and it's very Disney. But essentially, the Kraken attacks. Jack Sparrow is going to leave, but then he has a very protagonistic change of heart, and he returns, and then Elizabeth seduces him into smooching, which Will sees.
Such a good scene.
I guess so.
So beautiful.
I have a fundamental problem with scenes like that, because when let me get to it though. She then handcuffs him to the pearl.
Yeah.
And she's like, the Kraken only wants you.
Yep.
So you're gonna go down with the ship.
She feeds
and
him
then
to the
she
squid.
hops in the lifeboat, and Orlando Bloom is like, "Oh, did you have fun smooching?" I kind of hate those scenes where like there's like a lie being told that could easily just be like, she could be like, well, let me just explain it to you and then you'll feel better about it. But instead she's just like, oh, I won't say.
Well, she's already dealing with the grief of literally murdering a guy, kind of.
Which is a cool scene too, because
she's sending him to death.
Yeah, he gets eaten by the Kraken.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot to carry, because she watched it happen.
I think Will would be like, I understand why you did that.
I think Will's the one being a little bitch. Like, yo, you guys just sword fighted for 40 minutes. Just let her have a smooch with some guy she's going to kill.
Keira to smooch him. It's his future wife.
Yeah.
He wants that beautiful jaw, chin jutting.
Yeah.
Right into his mouth.
It's the perfect time to do it right after you stab a kraken, so they should just be doing it.
And then
anyway,
Jack
everyone's
Sparrow
the
gets
problem.
eaten by the kraken.
Yeah.
And then here's the problem.
Incredible scene, by the way.
Great scene. Great ending.
Oh my
Great
God.
ending. Here's the problem I have with scenes like that, which is a very Disney thing to do, is like they mourn for about 10 seconds and then Rihanna's like, well, you can bring him back to life.
I know.
And it's like we know a third is coming, right? And it's just kind of like, why don't you let us sit in the uncertainty for just a minute?
But like,
please?
not even back then you wouldn't have known a third was coming, right?
Yes, you would have. They were shot back to back.
Well, let's just say a child, 16-year-olds who were watching it in 2006 wouldn't have known that there's a third.
That makes
film.
it even better. That makes it even better, though.
And then they should have, to your point, dragged out that, oh, he's really dead a little bit longer. They should have done that. Yeah.
And can I say that the fundamental problem is because most of the rest of the plot doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's why, is because you don't have a reason to set up a sequel unless it's bringing back Jack to life, in which you need the help of Barbossa, who's played by Jeffrey Rush.
Makes a comeback,
who
baby.
comes back, who he still hasn't learned how to eat an apple properly because he's a disgusting man.
He's so gross.
And that's it. Cut to black. Finn, World's End, coming up next. Not us, but in life.
So
it's a good movie.
So good.
But it is like we were talking about, the main issue, which I could complain about, but I don't really care, is like the plot is just so incidental, and there's nothing really that
but also,
important.
what I'm saying is that you don't need a plot.
No,
for a movie like this,
it's so well shot and designed and so fun.
It is the definition of a popcorn film. You take your children, you take your grandparents. Everybody's gonna have a fucking fantastic time, or just watch it while drinking, like I did, and it's even better.
We used to have it so good. Those blockbusters.
I know.
You know? Like
that's why I felt so happy. I came into the room when you were napping. I was like, babe, get up. Pirates 2?
Just dropped.
Is this the best movie ever? Because it did make you feel like craving a simpler time.
You woke me from my nap to be like, this movie you just watched is really good.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, but Dead Man's Chest, not dead yet.
What I'm saying is, like, I think for so long, especially of our 20s and adult life, it's like there's so many more blockbusters.
Yeah.
And there's like 6 every summer, and 4 of them are shit. And then like 2 are actually good.
Yeah.
Like, especially at the height of Marvel, right? It's
totally.
like there's like one Marvel that's going to knock everyone's balls off.
Yep.
And then there's like Fast in the Fuck Faces.
Yeah.
Fucking some pissy ass little shitty Marvel spinoff that no one likes. There's Jurassic World, fuck your mom. And and then you know what I mean though, right? Whereas like back in the day, maybe we're just being stupid and nostalgic, but I would be curious. I want to look at like the biggest movies of that summer, because
I know what could have even possibly
this
competed,
was the biggest
right?
movie of all time, I think, when it came out. I think it was the highest
there a Harry
opening.
Potter out in 2006? Pretty sure.
01 was the first one.
Pretty sure that,
06 would have been Goblet of
I think it would have been
Fire?
Order of the Phoenix.
Or Order of the That sounds about right, yeah.
Oh my God.
But
what a phenomenal
you know what I mean
year.
though? Like blockbusters became so big and so ubiquitous, but so many of them were like, I just have not great quality, and I don't know.
Oh, well, let's not forget American Pie presents The Naked Miles.
That was a straight to video, I believe.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
It kind of like, I was just thinking that I was like, man, it makes it feel like this movie was like worth the wait at the time. Whereas like no one is sitting around being like, what's going to happen in FF11? you know, but like, I'm serious.
100%.
I'm serious. Like
no one gives
when
a shit.
when Fast X ended, people were like, oh my God, there's going to be another one.
I know, but then that's the same fate of like the 4th Pirates film. It's like
that's what ended up being the fate of these, unfortunately.
Why are they? And then on a 5th one, it's like, all right, man, just lay it to death. Like, let it rest in peace.
I can't wait to watch them.
I know, I'm really psyched for the 3rd one right now.
Oh yeah, the 3rd one. We're definitely going to do the 3rd one.
So good.
And then in about 9 or 10 years, after 4 or 5 more Fast and the Furious, we'll do the other 2 Pirates. Keira Knightley, good mouth actor. Jennifer Lopez keeps swashbuckling.
Hell yeah.
Chris, Ted, Terry, and the gang.
And the gang of
the
writers.
gang of writers.
Such a good job.
The
you
Rossios.
guys.
Keep it up. I know you're not suffering from work shortages because you're very talented. Yeah, and that's it. Are you done? Are we done
I'm
here?
just so excited to watch the third one, like as soon as we finish recording this episode, because I am pumped for Pirates, baby.
What about I gotta play my Be a Pro on NHL.
You gotta find another house to do this in. This is now a pirate ship run tightly by me.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.